Hey team, welcome back. So we're gonna start working on our backend, but not before doing some administrative stuff or some administrative setup that you need to have anyway, right? So the first thing that I did was that I created a tool. A tool. I created a folder for the tool. Now this folder is going to be my repo, and I'm gonna show you that in just a few minutes. And I'm gonna have here both my Java project or my Spring project, and I'm also gonna have here a separate folder with my React project. And I'm gonna be using branches, and I'm also gonna give you a quick say introduction to branching, because every lecture in this course is going to have a different branch, and that branch is going to contain the final code for that lecture. And that way, if you need to trace a specific piece of functionality in a specific or a particular state of the application, then you can just go back to it and see for yourself what you might have done wrong in case you run into bugs, or also if you just want to take a look at anything very, very specific, very targeted, you can just go to the branch for that specific video. And in all the video courses, I'm going to tell you what branch corresponds to that video lecture. All right. So first of all, we're going to create this folder here. Then we're going to start by creating our Java project. And here I was just doing some dry runs here. I love doing dry runs before I actually start a project, or I actually start a lecture, because I do want you guys to have the best learning experience that I can possibly give you. All right. So in order to start a project, you need to go to create a new project on IntelliJ. Here, create a new project. Just click there, and then you'll be prompted to this window here. Now, if you are on a different IDE and you don't have this exact same window, you can always go to the website start.spring.io, and this is going to help you generate a project just like I'm going to do right now on IntelliJ, and then you can just import it to your IDE. If you're using Spring Tool Suite, and I'm just going to open my STS real quick, just give me one moment, because I don't want to leave you hanging either. I do want you to know that how to do this on that tool as well, although you should know by now. But let me just get this out of the way. I want you guys to have the very best learning experience that you could possibly have with me, and I want to be all encompassing here. So all you need to do is go to new Spring Starter project, and then it's going to take you, as you can see, to a very similar screen than the one that I have here. And here you can actually declare your initial set of dependencies as well. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of here. All due respect, I do personally dislike this tool. I literally just installed it to do JEE or Java EE development. But just because I wanted to follow along anyway. So we're gonna go here, Spring Initializer. We're gonna give our group a name. In my case, I am going to use the name of my company, Agile Intelligence. The artifact is gonna be ppm tool. All right, and personal project management tool. Cool. All right, so sorry for the silliness there. I'm really excited. So the first dependency that we're gonna bring is the core, the dev tools. Some of the things that we're gonna use here is that the dev tool allows you to go straight into the H2 database, which is the database, the in-memory database that we're gonna be using at the very beginning of this course. Then we have to bring web. Then from SQL, we're going to bring JPA, MySQL, and H2. All right? So, and I know that you may be wondering, hey, if I noticed in demo that you have login, how come we're not bringing security just yet? we'll bring it later on. All right, so don't worry about it. All right, so then we're gonna pick the folder where we want this, and let me just do this real quick because I really don't want people to be looking at my my folder structure. I have some personal stuff there, although you already saw it, so no worries there. But we're gonna bring it here to the ppm tool full stack folder, all right, which is the folder that I created, and this is gonna just create our project. For those of you using IntelliJ, I recommend that you enable auto import. If you're not using IntelliJ, I'm not really sure how this goes with SDS. To be honest, it's been a while, so this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so now that we created the boilerplate project, and I'm just gonna take a second here because my wife's cat is actually trying to code as well. Anyway, so now that we have done this, we're just gonna put this away for now. And then we're going to open our terminal. For those of you on Mac or Linux, if you're on Windows, again, you need to install Git Bash. I recommend that you install Git Bash so you can do some of these commands as well. And I'm just going to navigate to the folder that I just created, and there you have it. I have my I do have my project here, although it did not do what I wanted it to do because it actually put the Java project into this. So I'm just going to create another folder real quick. ppmt tool full stack React plus Java. And then I'm just going to bring this one here. Okay. And then I'm going to navigate onto that folder, and as you can see, ls command, this is our Java project. Okay, so now that we have this out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about Git. And this is not a course on Git or GitHub. You should have a fairly good handle on this. This is very basic stuff, and it's not difficult at all. Actually, I'm going to provide in the resources section a site from Atlassian that actually provides a beautiful overview on Git and how to use it. And I promise you, this is going to be super, super easy for you to learn if you don't know this by now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to my GitHub for Agile Intelligence, and I'm going to start a project. And I'm going to name this project Agile Int PPM Tool. All right. So now that I have this is going to give us a list of instructions on how to set up a repo in our local environment. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to navigate to the folder where we're going to host, or we're going to store both our Java project and our React project once we create it. And we're going to start with the git init command. Perfect. Then I'm just going to navigate back to the browser. Just a moment. Oh, I literally just lost this. There we go. Okay, so now then we're going to do git add, and we're going to put a dot here. This is basically going to add everything that's on the directory. Perfect. Then we're going to do git commit -m, and that's the first commit. Perfect. These are all the files that we're committing to the repo, and then we're going to literally copy paste this, just because I don't want you guys to get bored with me typing. And then git push origin master. And perfect. And now this is gonna update our repository. This is great. And then if we come here, then you're gonna see what we just pushed. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about before I wrap up this section is I want to talk about branching. Okay, as I mentioned before, each lecture is going to have a branch, and it's going to be a branch that's going to be specific to that video lecture. So I want to show you very quickly how to create a branch and how to do branching. This is very basic branching, but this information alone is going to get you started, and it's going to enable you to work with a Git flow or branching or a branching strategy if you ever go to the workplace and they actually use this, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to type git branch to see how many branches you have. And right now we're on the master branch. Then you want to create a separate branch. In order to create a separate branch, remember the thing with branching, and let me just backtrack a little bit because I think I'm going a little too fast. The thing with branching is that on the master branch, you have your main tool or you have your stable tool, okay? And in the real world, usually what you have a master is everything that has been thoroughly tested and that you know that it's stable, that it's, pass all regression tests or integration tests or unit tests. And if you don't know what those are, go read on that because those are really important things to know about when you're becoming a developer. So, and then the branch is where the developers actually perform work, and then they commit this branch back to the master branch. And then in that commit process, there's usually a set of tests, although we're not going to do any of that, but that's usually how it flows, right? You create a branch, then you work on your branch, then you commit the branch. That usually might even trigger something called pull requests, and then it should go through a review process. There's usually some automation involved. Again, this is just a very, very rough idea of what this is for. Right now, we're just going to do a very basic, minimal version of this, right? So we're going to create our first branch, and I'm going to call it branch 0. Okay, when you create the branch, and if you run the git branch command again, you'll see that now we have 2 branches. Now, in order for us to start working on a branch, then you have to use the git checkout and the name of the branch. Git checkout branch 0, and then if you run git branch again, you're going to see that you're on branch 0. Okay, so now that we're on our branch, then what we can do is we're going to do some basic work here. We're not going to do anything like to earth shattering. I'm just going to open the project that we created for this one. Just give me 1 second because it's not the right project. Give me just a moment so I can actually open the project that we created. My apologies for this. It's just normal stuff. Normal hiccups here. Nothing to worry about. We're going to open the PPMT full stack project here, okay? And all I am going to do is I am going to get us started with what we're going to do in the next lecture, which is actually start working on our models. So I am going to just create a package here, and we're going to call it domain, and then we're going to add just one Java class, which is we're going to call project, which is going to be the first object that we're going to be working with. Okay, don't worry about this because this is ID specific. I'm going to do this manually, okay? So now that we have done this, the next step in our branch, now that we have done this, is to git add, and this is going to, and then git commit -m project object, and this is going to commit your changes to the branch. All right, so the next step is to actually push the branch upstream, and this is going to give you, obviously, if you type git push, it's going to give you a recommendation on the command that you need to run, which is what I'm going to do now. And what this is going to do now is that it's going to push the branch upstream so you can see it on your repository. And I'm going to show you what that looks like now that we have it on a repo. Just 1 second. Here we go. So I'm going to refresh this real quick, and I want to show you this because this is really interesting. So if we go to PPMT full stack, you can see that we have the here what we initially committed. Now, if we go back to branch 0, which just pushed, you're going to see that now the folder looks different, and now the project itself looks different, right? And it actually contains what we just committed. And if you go here to the last commit, you can see all the changes that we performed, including the class that we created, okay? So now that we have done that, the next thing that we need to do is git checkout to master. So we go back to master, and then we're gonna do git merge branch 0, and that way we're gonna merge this branch onto our master branch, and then we're gonna do git push. And now master is updated with the latest features that we included in our branch 0. And as you can see now, they both look the same, and you can still go back to the latest commit and actually see all the code that you committed there. And this way you can keep track of your changes. So that's it for now. Thank you.